Where do you draw the line between fact and fiction? My John Shakespeare series of Elizabethan thrillers are all based around actual historical events. There are remarkable mysteries still unsolved from the Elizabethan era. Take the case of Christopher Marlowe, the great playwright, which I look at in my book Prince. Stabbed in the eye in a room in Deptford. The three men known to have been in the room with him, all disreputable people. The official line was that he was the victim of a brawl when the men were drunk. Some historians have looked at the case and decided it must have been murdered. For me, neither of those answers quite measures up, and I've come up with what I believe might be the truth. Topcliffe is a real historical character, unfortunately. He was so well known in his day that the court called priest hunting Topcliffizari. They called torture our Topcliffian practices. He was so despised even then that his own nephew changed his name to dissociate himself from him. Unfortunately, the Queen herself seemed to like him right until the end, for she never deserted him, even when some of his worst misdemeanors had come to light. The great Elizabethan statesman Francis Bacon said that knowledge is power, but long before he said it, Walsingham knew it and acted on it. Sir Francis Walsingham was Elizabeth's spy master, and he knew that he had to know what was going on, not just in England, but in every house in England, in every great house, and throughout Europe. He had spies everywhere. He is the founder of the modern Secret Service, and he used this knowledge ruthlessly. Not only did he use Topcliffe on the one hand as his chief torture master, but he used assassination, he used bribery, blackmail, everything he could to protect the state and to protect his queen. Why was he like this? Because he had seen militant Catholicism in action in France when he was ambassador in the 1570s. He had seen the Huguenots massacred, those are the Protestants, massacred by the Catholics, and he didn't want the same to happen in England. When Sir Francis Walsingham died in 1590, his place as head of the spy network was taken by Sir Robert Cecil, the young son of Lord Burleigh, who was Elizabeth's most trusted minister. Sir Robert Cecil was equally the match of his father. Elizabeth obviously inspired great devotion among her ministers. He was perhaps not as ruthless as Walsingham, but he was certainly as devious. He was a real statesman, and he wasn't going to allow things to slip once just because Walsingham had passed on. I have a lot of fun coming up with names for my characters. So John Shakespeare's assistant is called Boatfoot Cooper. He has a club foot, and he's a cooper, a maker of barrels. So it's easy to remember who he is and what he does, which is how many people ended up with the names they did. I have a character called Reap Hook in Traitor. A reap hook is an Old English word for a sickle. He carries a sickle everywhere. It's very easy to remember him. Then I have Starling Day, who is a prostitute in one or two of my books, actually. I just like the name. I find these names on old gravestones in churches around Norfolk. Starling Day actually I found in a Norfolk church, and I later discovered that she was really a he, and it was a rather well-known wool factor and banker. So belated apologies to Mr. Starling Day.